Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. I hope you're doing well. Brian B., thank you so much for your super chat. Praying that you have a successful surgery, Sister Lisa. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for your donation to my channel. So, y'all, we're going to talk about a story I actually came across this morning when I got up. I was just looking through the news online, and this story popped up, and the Pentagon is giving a warning that the next war, which they're anticipating coming up real soon, because all this stuff going on with Iran, the US will not be spared. So the war will come to this soil. That's what their warning is. And you're going to see Donald Trump, JD Vance, and others talking on this. And they're pretty much guaranteeing that this war will happen and the US will get hit. So, for the first time in the history of this country, people are going to experience bombs raining down on us. We know America has done this all over the globe to others, but never had it done. But they're saying this will all change. And when they were asking when, they said real soon. So I said, you have to take some of it with a grain of salt, because we know politicians lie and you can't really put a lot into what they're saying. But I said to myself, if it's true, then I need to pray on this one with the Most High. And no matter what happens, that you keep your children safe. Remember the covenant that you have with us. And if we can't get out of here, that you will keep us safe and covered. So I don't care about the Gentiles that starts every war up in here, because they going to be who they are. I have to pray for me and mine, and me and mine is my Hebrew family that's here in this country. And my concern is that you are safe through this whole thing. Whatever happens, we are safe, and the Father will be there protecting us. So I'm going to let you hear what they're saying. Now, this came out from the Pentagon, and you can actually, the stories are written and out there, so you can physically go out there and pull up these stories. They came out just a few days ago. All right. So let me share my screen so we can get started. Here we go. Yes. Right. All right, y'all. Please give me a one if you can see my screen. And, America got a lot of enemies. This country has gone around being the biggest bully on earth. And not only being the biggest bully, the biggest one that have unalived people on a global level. That's why I laugh to myself when I hear these people talking about we're the most violent. We haven't gone around this planet doing even a fraction of what these folks have done. And they got their nerve, they got a lot of nerve forming their lips talking about somebody is violent, and their entire existence in America is nothing but violent. They got a lot of nerve, for real. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Pay attention and listen because the vice president explains how close we are to World War III. Look. Potential World War III and nuclear warfare.
The decision hour is upon us. On Tuesday, Iran approached a U.S. carrier with a Shahed drone, the same class that routinely strikes Ukraine, only for an F-35 to shoot it down. It is unclear whether Iran was using the Shahed for surveillance or a potential strike. That same day, 2 Iranian gunboats approached the Stena Imperative, a U.S. flag chemical tanker that was sitting in international waters. They ordered the tanker to stop and to prepare to be boarded. The USS McFall came in to make the save, scurrying the Iranian gunboats away and escorting the Stena Imperative to safer waters. All of this is happening in the shadow of diplomatic talks scheduled for Friday, somewhere in the Middle East. They are still debating on that point. Regardless, the bigger picture here is that the United States has placed the assets that it needs near the Persian Gulf, and soon the White House will have to decide what real action, if any, it wants to take in Iran. However, the whole situation is full of public misunderstandings, ranging from a belief that this is another obvious Trump bluff to the frankly more baffling connection to Iran's nuclear program. So today, let's discuss what is happening with the U.S. military deployments and what it means for the broader war versus negotiation situation. We should begin with the U.S. allotment. And I want to speak in generalities here. One, because of the whole fog of war problem of trying to know exactly what is happening. And 2, because my purpose in life is to explain the political importance of the moves, rather than the precise tactical points that the Pentagon might be planning. The main headline is that the Lincoln Strike Group is now situated within, well, striking distance of Iran. That includes the host of assets aboard the Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier itself, plus 3 destroyers riding alongside it, plus the other naval assets added to the area, like the aforementioned USS McFall. Presumably on board those destroyers are plenty of Tomahawk missiles. Usually I would comment here about the conniptions that Indo-PACOM will have if those Tomahawks are used in the Middle East rather than to deter China. But it is 2026, so I can also add a comment here about half of Europe having conniptions that they are not being used against Russia. Isn't the world today so much fun? Anyway, beyond the Lincoln and her naval friends, you have F-15E fighters getting situated in Jordan, refueling tankers and air defense systems stationed at the main U.S. base in Qatar, surveillance aircraft all over the region, search and rescue aircraft all over the region, plus rumors of cargo planes that may hold Patriots and the like to protect against heavier missiles that Iran might fire at U.S. assets and allies. Now, I can safely tell you that this is not the United States situating itself to repeat the Iraq War in either form, 2003 or 1991. That would require a large number of soldiers to set up nearby, which is not happening and would be impossible for the United States to hide. But this is reminiscent of Venezuela. You remember that operation from a whole month ago? It was a lot of metal to be putting in the region if the White House was not serious about the situation. And indeed, the White House was serious about the situation.
So the Pentagon is now warning that major U.S. cities are on alert because of a potential war coming right here to U.S. soil. Look at this. It says Pentagon warns future wars may hit U.S. soil as direct military threats grow. This is a scary situation. And in a moment, I'm going to show you this right here, a full list of 15 U.S. cities on a nuclear target if World War III erupts. This is what experts are telling us, that these are the locations that would likely be hit first. These are the highest risk cities here in the United States. Yeah, we're going to get to that in a moment. But first, look at this. This is what we learned just the other day. Look at that.
U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said today that the U.S. military will be prepared to carry out whatever President Trump decides on Iran to ensure that Tehran does not pursue nuclear weapons capability.
So Pete Hegseth, okay, the Secretary of War, is telling us that he's prepared to carry out any action that President Trump gives him. If this means to strike Iran, that's what we're going to do. If this means do something down in Venezuela, that's what we're going to do. If this means go and target Greenland, that's what we're going to do. Okay, he made it very clear. He's going to listen to what President Trump has to tell him. But this is concerning, okay? All these issues that we are seeing pop up around the world. Okay, Russia is still dealing with Ukraine. Okay, Israel still a target. Iran, again, huge problems here. But look at this. It says U.S. military action in Iran risks igniting a regional and global nuclear cascade. Okay, we learned that just the other day. But here's where things are getting interesting. I want to read this. This is from President Trump right here. Listen to this, okay? Because again, you're probably thinking this is fake news. This is not fake news. This is serious. The United States is creating all these other conflicts and issues and increasing tensions from around the world. Now the Pentagon is concerned that our U.S. cities are going to be the next target. Listen to what President Trump had to say. Listen to this.
Yesterday, he put this on his Truth Social account, saying a massive armada is now headed to Iran. It is moving quickly with great power, enthusiasm, and purpose. It is a larger fleet headed by the great aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln. Then that's sent to Venezuela. Like Venezuela, it is ready, willing, and able to rapidly fulfill its mission with the speed and violence if necessary. Hopefully, Iran will quickly, quote, come to the table and negotiate a fair and equitable deal. No nuclear weapons, one that is good for all parties. Time is running out. It is truly of the essence. As I told Iran once before, make a deal. They didn't, and there was an Operation Midnight Hammer, a major destruction of Iran. The next attack will be far worse. Don't make that happen again. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Okay. Now, in just
breaking news right now. Axios has confirmed that Iran has begun its retaliation against the United States, firing at least 6 ballistic missiles at a United States military base located in Qatar. This is a very significant development. The missiles are likely scheduled to strike this military base in a matter of minutes because of how close Iran is to Qatar. The airspace over Qatar has been closed. Donald Trump has convened his national security team, likely in the Situation Room right now, to discuss possible retaliation against Iran, whether or not the United States will strike back. Earlier reporting suggested that Donald Trump's response to any Iranian strike on a U.S. military base, for example, this one in Qatar, will depend on whether or not any American civilian is injured and or killed. We will see what happens. We don't know the impacts, but the missiles have been launched. The Iran has officially retaliated and attacked the United States. Spread the word. I'm going to have minute-by-minute updates for you all night or all day. So subscribe to my Substack at the link in my bio to support and follow.
This is what the media isn't showing.
Pretty shocking developing news coming out as take a look at the latest headlines with me. Pentagon warns future wars may hit U.S. soil. Take a look at the date here, January 27, 2026. We're hearing the Pentagon is warning of attacks on the U.S. homeland. Pentagon warns future wars may hit U.S. soil as direct military threats grow. And they're warning because we're hearing that there could be a potential war on our hands right now. New national defense strategy elevates homeland defense above all other missions. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think we're about to enter into a war? Is there a concern of yours of a potential attack here on U.S. soil? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But take a look at some more of the articles that have been coming out here. You can see it for yourself. Pentagon releases national defense strategy with Homeland Defense as the top. In addition to that, threat of U.S.-Iran war escalates as Trump warns time is running out for a deal. We're hearing that there could be a direct conflict with Iran as these warnings are coming out for the Pentagon of an attack on U.S. soil. U.S. President says Armada heading toward Iran is prepared to fulfill its mission with violence if necessary. And here's another one. We're hearing that it is just escalating in the Middle East. Trump threatens Iran with far worse attack than June strikes if it doesn't negotiate a nuclear deal. You can see all of these coming out in the last 48 hours. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think we're going to be entering into war? And are you concerned?
Now responded threatening the United States. Now, as you know, the president has ordered 3 strikes against Iranian nuclear facilities. These strikes were successfully carried out, specifically with the Fordow facility in Iran being completely dismantled. Well, now Iran has responded, threatening the United States. In a message being displayed on Iranian televisions, it states, "You started this, Mr. Trump, and we will end it." Clearly a threat, an act of war against the United States by Iran. Now, as we know it, Iran does not have the nuclear capabilities to issue a strike against mainland America. However, our military bases near Iran are on high alert as it is believed Iran may retaliate against our military bases in the region. Now, the president will be addressing the nation regarding this in about 30 minutes. Additionally, we have information.
Did you see that the Pentagon put out a warning that future wars may hit U.S. soil as the direct military threats are growing? So the Pentagon's newly released National Defense Strategy warns that future wars may no longer be fought solely overseas, arguing the U.S. military must be prepared to conduct combat operations directly from the American homeland as adversaries gain the ability to strike the United States itself. This strategy elevates homeland defense above all other missions, calling for expanded missile defense, counter-drone systems, cyber capabilities, and long-range strike forces capable of launching device operations from U.S. soil. Pentagon planners describe a local threat environment that is faster, more dangerous, and far less forgiving than in past decades. So what the strategy says is the joint force must be ready to deter and, if called upon, to prevail, including the ability to launch divisive operations against targets anywhere, including directly from the U.S. homeland. There you have it. So, what do you think about all this? Let me know in the comments and follow me for more.
We're hearing that the United States is preparing for Iranian military action, retaliatory attacks as a result of the U.S. preparing to attack Iran. And we're hearing that the negotiations taking place tomorrow, Friday, they're likely going to fail. Take a look at the latest headlines with me so you can see it for yourself. The U.S. and Iran, they agree on holding talks, They don't agree on much else. The two sides remain at odds over what will even be discussed in Oman. Talks are on the brink. Why Iran and the U.S. negotiations inspire very little confidence. This coming out from the Iranian International News. Also, Israel estimates there is a slim prospect for U.S.-Iran agreement in Oman talks. We're hearing already they are saying they anticipate these talks are going to fail and we are going to end up in attacks. Now, Kushner and Witkoff to lead the U.S.-Iran talks in Oman. This is Trump's son-in-law. Arab allies still on edge ahead of U.S.-Iran talks. Hope their warnings have broken through. We're hearing the Middle East is concerned that things are about to get messy. The U.S. may soon strike Iran. Here's why that's a big deal. Missile barrages and cyber operations. Iran outlines multi-front war plan against the United States. We're hearing there could be cyber attacks, missile attacks, an assortment of different warnings coming out. And as we know, Iranian sleeper cells and warnings coming out from the Pentagon of attacks on the U.S. homeland. Now, Trump says that Iran's supreme leader should be very worried right now ahead of the U.S.-Iranian talks. Hope for U.S.-Iran talks shaken by drone and gunboats and new demands. We're hearing that, yes, in the past couple of days, there have been a lot of issues, a lot of tension building surrounding the United States and Iran. And Iran agrees to discuss proxy terror, ballistic missile arsenal in the U.S. negotiations. And they don't want us involved, though, Trump says. Trump says that Iran will negotiate because it is afraid of war with the United States, which we're hearing is likely right around the corner. And take a look at this. Satellite images revealed the buildup of the U.S. fighter jets and missile defenses ahead of the U.S.-Iran nuclear talks. We're hearing that what is being seen right now from space is massive. We're hearing that right now all over. The United States has that armada, that flotilla, Trump said, that is ready to attack. And take a look at this. Iran unveils missile threat. As U.S. talks begin, Israeli officials say Trump is not going to blink. Man, let me know your thoughts. And almost all of these articles coming out today within the last 24 hours, February the 5th, 2026. Things are getting tense right now. Tomorrow are the talks, and we're going to be seeing where we go from here. And I'm going to play for you some. Right, so a lot developing on the United States and Iran potentially going to war here very soon. Today, February the 1st, 2026. Take a look at the latest headlines coming out with me. Is not going to blink. Man, let me know your thoughts. And
what's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. President Donald Trump says the U.S. is prepared for war. I'll let you hear it from him and hear the details in this video, as well as the Pentagon warning that war could be coming to the U.S. homeland directly. And I'll give you all the details of all of that here in this video as we're live right here on the It's Jimmy show. Let me know if you can see and hear me. Type yes in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know your city, state, or even your country, as we have people tuning in here from all around the globe. Don't forget to hit that like button for me here. It really helps out the channel. If you haven't yet, subscribe down below so you don't miss out on future videos. Take a look at what President Donald Trump just said and what just happened. Now, this comes as Iran says that they are fully prepared for war against President Donald Trump and has had multiple different threats here. Also, the Pentagon warns that future wars may hit the U.S. directly, the U.S. homeland, as direct military threats grow. I'll get to that here in a second. Yeah, Iran has issued a chilling warning to the United States ahead of their diplomatic talks between the two countries in Oman. The Iranian spokesperson, Amir Akramina, has warned that American military bases in the region are within easy reach. And Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei's senior advisor said that Iran was fully prepared to stand against any external threats. Trump has threatened to invade Iran if the regime continues mass executions of protesters who stood up against the government in protest last year. This includes the U.S. State Department demanding that Iran halt an execution of a 19-year-old wrestling star who wrestles for the country of Iran internationally and is a champion wrestler, and Iran wants to execute him for protesting against the state. This comes as Iran, a lot of people think, are still producing the materials for a nuclear weapon. And the US and other countries around the world want to stop this, but Iran, well, they're doing what Iran wants to do. And that's why this upcoming meeting between the United States and Iran is crucial or could lead to another war here. Quote, they asked us to keep the meeting and listen to what the Iranians have to say. We have told the Arabs that we will do the meeting if they insist, but we are very skeptical, a Trump official said. A second Trump official agreed to hold the meeting, quote, to be respectful to U.S. allies in the region in order to continue pursuing the diplomatic track. However, the Pentagon is warning that future wars may hit the continental United States homeland as direct military threats grow. The Pentagon's newly released National Defense Strategy warns that future wars may no longer be fought solely overseas, and that the U.S. military must be prepared to conduct combat operations directly from the American homeland as adversaries gain the ability to strike the United States.
The Pentagon has now made one thing clear: defending the U.S. homeland is its number one priority, because the threat of direct attacks on U.S. soil is growing, including the possibility of nuclear strikes on American cities. This is why in January 2026, we're seeing a flood of new reports. The FBI and defense agencies are again discussing a list of major U.S. cities considered primary targets in a world war scenario. Just days ago, the Pentagon warned future wars may hit U.S. soil directly. The new National Defense Strategy now puts homeland defense above every other mission. North Korea has been labeled a direct threat to the U.S. homeland. Iran continues to be named in escalating security briefings. Drone attacks, cyber operations, and long-range strikes are all part of updated threat models. U.S. officials are also warning that militant networks linked to South Asia, including groups rooted in Pakistan and Afghanistan, are adapting and continue to inspire attacks inside the United States. In the last 4 days alone, multiple homeland security threat forecasts have been released, all pointing to the same conclusion. The risk profile has shifted. Homeland defense is now the focus, and now more than ever, it is imperative to build wealth and relocate.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the bottom line is it's always the Gentiles that jump the wars off. It's always the Gentiles. And it will be, if America were to get hit, these folks don't know what to do. They're so busy going after everybody else, but this country has never been prepared for warfare. I was around the Ukraine war. They were talking about, this was before it started, the Ukraine-Russia war. They were talking about Russia and how prepared Russia is. They said Russia got big, huge bunkers underground. They could literally put half of their Russian population underground. Half of their population can literally fit underground if a war broke out there on their soil. The U.S. don't have that. All you got is individual rich people with bunkers, but they do not have bunkers so big that populations can go down underground, because they are so arrogant. They think these things can't happen to America. So they never bothered to do anything. And I was reading how other countries, France, other countries in Europe, how they got bunkers so big they can get hundreds of thousands of their people underground if that's what they had to do. But America, and plus they want a lot of the population gone in this country anyway. What better way if not through war? So this country is not prepared. These folks, if they get hit or their area get hit with a bomb, they're going to crumble fast. They don't know how to live off the land. they have been living such sheltered lives. If they had to spend even 24 hours outdoors, they would crumble fast. And remember, these folks, since they've been here, have never done a single thing on their own. Okay. One thing about us, we are survivors. They have put us in a situation where we had to literally survive all of this time. They've made our lives impossible. We had to survive. But their life have been so convenient. Trust me, if anything jumps off in here, they're going to be the first to crumble. They think they won't be, but they will be, y'all. They will be. They have not lived one single day without leaning on everybody else. And that is the truth. That is the truth. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, no, the Most High got us, y'all. He got us. I really, truly believe that. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. I do have a whole different lineup for tomorrow. Plus, we'll be doing our Bible study on Saturday as usual. So be on the lookout for my lives. And y'all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Shalom, family.